Hi, I'm Deborah. I'm from Canberra, Australia, and this is my YouTube channel devoted to fixing my unfinished project problem. I've decided that the start of the new UFO Bingo project requires a bit of a clean up in the sewing room. I want to have some space to just focus on one or two projects. And as I've been going through, I have found lots of things that need working on that are not on my bingo cards. So they're just going to have to go away for a while and come back out when it's their turn. So I did have a huge pile of fabric over here that Kate went up to the windowsill. That's all been put away. It's just a little bit of mending there and some fabric that I want to make a bag out of. And that white box has all of the blocks for my steampunk quilt, which is one of the ones I'm going to work on. This is leftover fabric from a couple of cot quilts that I've made. I have enough of the half square triangle blocks and various other bits and pieces, probably to make a couple more. So that's going to go in the box with all of the triangles, which is, okay, so this is all a heap of, that's a shoebox. So there's a heap of half square triangle blocks in there and a heap of triangles all cut out ready to make more. I mostly have solids in the ones that are already cut out. I've got a little bit of patterned fabric here, so I could make more patterned ones if I need to. I'm just going to try and make this nice and tidy and neat so it all fits nicely in the box. This, oh, that's a bit of the binding from the first one I made. I will do a scrappy binding on the next one, so I can probably recycle that little bit. And we'll just fold these up. This one is for the scraps that I'm going to use to make the 3.5 inch. I'm calling them terry blocks because that's what Kate at the last homely house does. It's based on Terry Rowland's quilts, where she has a square in a square and the inside is a pattern and the outside is plain, or vice versa, or sometimes they're just mixed prints. And she makes 3.5 inch blocks like that and makes a big scrappy quilt out of them, and they're stunning. They're really beautiful. I'm actually trying not to create extra scraps, so I'm just doing improv blocks that use up all the different sizes and shapes, but I'm cutting them down to 3.5 inches. And I've made one scrappy quilt that way, loved it, absolutely love making the blocks, and so I'm started on another one. Just give me one moment, I will find the box of blocks I've already made. So these are the blocks I've already made. They are piles. I think I've probably got about 400 blocks now. I need about 650. I did have some left over from the original one, but as you can see, I've done all different shapes. This one, like that's 3 different ones in the middle, and I'm just using up as much of the scraps as I can. It's usually only very small pieces that are going in the bin. I just find that makes me happier than creating more scraps by trying to get a block exactly like this one. Occasionally I do. That cream was in strips, and so I just used strips on the outside and an appropriately sized scrap on the inside. As you can see, I do have a lot of overlap, but that's actually made quite different blocks, so it shouldn't be too noticeable. I don't know, I make so many quilts, but I just seem to have been working with the same scraps the whole time. So I've used up most of what was in that original box, and now I've discarded the remainder and I'm pulling out more scraps. That's one of my scrap bags over there. I've been pulling things out. What I need to do now is press them all so that I can make, excuse me, It's not exactly neat and tidy and ironed central in there. So I'm pulling them out, finding things that seem to be appropriate, finding stuff that I can do edges with. I do like to try and minimize the number of seams on the edges. So mostly when I'm sewing blocks together to make a strip, I have that in the middle, and I try and have just one fabric on the outside. Just makes life easier when you're sewing the blocks together. Anyway, so that's going to be a project for today. I started pulling scraps yesterday, and I need to press them. They will take up a lot less room in the box, and then I'll press some more and put those in and get working on those. I'll show you later what I've been doing to just get block bundles prepared. This fabric was sitting up on that box at the back. I bought that specifically to make this quilt from Gnome Angel. It's another one that is fussy cut using templates, though there's not a lot of fussiness in these. It's mostly just a colour. It's beautiful textured fabric. It's a cotton, but it's like, oh, I'm not sure what the term is. It might be a jacquard. It's like there are parts of it where the pattern is woven, possibly all of it where the pattern is woven, and it has a texture and a heft to it that I think is just lovely. So I'm going to try and make that quilt from Gnome Angel and just get it done quilts. And it's their maple and eucalyptus one, which I think came out in 2023 or 2024. I've had 3 different ideas for how to make this, and then I fell in love with this fabric when I was in the fabric store one day. So hopefully I will actually make it before I come up with another idea. This box and lid are blocks that I've made for an African quilt that I am putting together. I have 50 4.5 by 8.5 inch blocks that were part of a Gnome Angel kinship 100 days 100 blocks challenge, and the colors are really bold and bright and I love them, but they don't go together well as a scrappy quilt. So I'm introducing smaller pops of color surrounded by black that are going to go around the bigger blocks, and it seems to be working. The colors do pop, they're much better, and it's a much more complex quilt, but I do like the way it's coming up. Let me just show you a couple of the bigger blocks that I've created. Okay, so that's a run. So the taller rectangular blocks are the ones that were part of the 100 days 100 blocks, all fussy cuts cut with templates, and I've just surrounded them with those square and a square blocks and the strip ones. So that's what I'm working on with that box. These little feet are part of a caterpillar bag that I'm making. It was a panel that I bought when probably my oldest son was little. He's 27 now, so you can't rush these things. I'm hoping for grandchildren one day they could be able to use the bag, but it was just so cute. I didn't want to not make it, and I've not done very much bag making, so it's a bit of a challenge. I've gotten this far. I've got little legs, and the top bits I think are handles. That's about all I've done so far on that, but that's on my UFO Bingo list, and it was sitting on the table. I may take the approach of trying to clear the table by finishing things. I don't know. I'll have to see how long things are taking me, and I'm afraid I'm a bit whim driven. I tend to sew what I feel like sewing today, and so I'm hoping I'm hoping I can push that a little bit and just go, okay, that's on the desk. I'd like it not to be on the desk. I'd like it to be finished. Let's feel like doing that today. We'll see if that works. Hi, I'm afraid there will be a part 2 for this video. I have so many things sitting on the sewing room table, and I do apologise for the light. I apologise for the wobbliness of some of that filming. I'm just learning how to do this, and there will be a lot more work, a lot more filming done with the stand rather than with me holding it. Apparently I have a bit of a wobble. Anyway, I will get on with doing part 2 of this video. I do need to say, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you want to see the next one, there will be a notification probably with your subscription.